dollars was
Right, so that was the video of the proposal. It took place on the 2nd of September 2007. I say that because we'll hopefully have this video to show our children. So the proposal, how it happened. During the week I found out who was working and who was on team for this Sunday. And I rang Pete and I rang Trevor, because they were the two key guys who I needed to speak to. And got it all gave them an idea. Didn't tell them what was going on, but just gave them an idea. I also tried to figure out. Initially, I wasn't going to have my family there. I just rang my family to say, look, we'll go to the pub, and we'll try and so they could help us celebrate. It was only sort of on the Saturday everything really came together, the day before, and then I told my family to be there early, to arrive at the service, and I told the lovely James Luck, who bring up yourself, to expect people to be arriving. So James knew that my folks and my family were arriving, and that Vicky was going to try and make her way there. Yeah, basically, so I had pretty much everyone knowing. So on the day itself, I arrived to the service early with Ruth, because Ruth was actually preaching that day. I had to go and talk to James pretty much straight away, tell him what the exact plan was. I told him that my parents were going to arrive at a certain time. We figured that was too early, so I rang them and told them to come a little later. I spoke to the guys up in the gallery, Pete and Trevor, about the video. I'd already sent the DVD, the introduction DVD for the projector screen, down before Ruth and I got there with my housemate Carolyn, so that they could test it. So all the music team knew what was going on at this stage, because they'd all seen the video and pretty much added two and two together. Then I had Abby and James could just be sort of on lookout for my folks. And at 5:30 during the service, right in the middle of Ruth's sermon, I get a text message from Abby saying family have arrived. So I was like, oh no! And bearing in mind, here's this sermon that Ruth. That was Ruth. Anyway, so where was I? Yes, Ruth giving this sermon, and it's one of the best sermons she's ever given as well. So I'm trying to, thinking about all the stuff that's about to happen, and you know, listening to the sermon, and you know, my head's just fried. And then this text message, oh, parents arrived, brains just going. So, well, you can imagine it was just pretty wound up at this stage. And so when it comes to the end of the service, I just sort of turned to Ruth and said, look, I've been dying for a pee during the service, and I need to run out to the loo. And I sort of ran out and ran to the room where my parents were, because James had told me whether he was going to put them. And then said hello to my parents, and pretty much there I got all my stuff ready. My sister had brought the bag with all the stuff, with the costume stuff, and the ring was in the bag and all this stuff. And so got out all my gear, laid it all out, and then James came into the room, and so we were able to just have a chat and figure out what was going to happen. I was able to give him the walkie-talkies so we could sync everything up. Yes, I have walkie-talkies. I'm well planned. Very well planned. And yeah, so we had it all pretty much synced up. Abby came out to bring my parents in, and then James went out to the front.
It's amazing how many things that now I know what was going on, I just took for granted were a bit out of place, but I didn't question them. For example, Mark's flatmates, they're sitting on the back row, and I was like, oh, hello John, I didn't see you there. And he's like, oh, I was in Ealing, and I just thought I'd come and join you for a drink, thought you might be going to the pub. And I was like, oh, right, okay, cool. And then Abby was standing over by the side doors, and I went over to her and I said, what, why are you sitting on the standing by the door? And she was, oh, I just feel like standing next to the door. And I'm like, right, fine. Just taking all these strange things that are not normal and not bothering with them. And then James does this, there's going to be a special Oak Tree announcement thing, and we all go and sit down, and I say to Carolyn, oh, is James getting married? And we had a little giggle. And then we sat down, and I turned to Carolyn and said, I have no idea where Mark's gone. He went to the loo. I've not seen him since. Maybe the loo monster has him. And we chortled. And then I just presumed, because Teresa, a girl in our church, had said that she wanted to do an extra notice, and we hadn't managed to fit it in the service, and I just thought she was using James to make this big announcement. Thought it was a bit extreme for a painting notice, but anyway, that's what I thought happened. And so we were all quiet, and James just got off the stage and walked away, and I was thinking, well, that's a rubbish notice for a start.
I made my way to the back, into the backstage area of the hall, and up onto the stage, and I had Peter put on lights at the back of the stage so I could see where I was going. And so I got back to stage, and just as James had gotten onto the stage, and asked everyone to look for a special Oak Tree announcement. And it was yeah, that's when my knees were like really going. It's just like, oh my! You know, I wasn't nervous that Ruth would say no. I knew she'd say yes, but it was just the fact that I was doing it in front of everyone, was pretty daunting. I mean, you try doing that, it's kind of freaky. Anyway, so yeah, the music starts, and I hadn't realised how loud it was going to be where I was, because where I was at the stage, you know, you got the speakers up in the walls beside me, so I'm like right in between the speakers, getting full stereo of it.
And then the lights dimmed, and I realised that it was more than just a notice, and the video came on, and obviously videos at Oak Tree, the only guy who does videos really is my lovely boy, and so I was like, that's weird that he's made a video and not shown it to me first. But hey, maybe it's not him, and being on staff, anything that was going to be shown for a reason, I should know about it. And so all of this is like in a split second, I'm thinking all this stuff's going through my brain, and the first thing comes up, and then it says something about it's not good for man to be alone. And that's when my tummy turned over.
Abby was bringing my parents into the hall, which is where the camera sort of comes into the hall as well. And then it's you know, well, basically, if you watch this now, this sort of bit now, you'll see the where my parents, where they came into the hall as it started, and you get to see Ruth's reaction a bit more as well, which is quite cool. So watch this bit, and I go on.
and I'm just thinking, my goodness, this is it. This is actually it. And then of course everybody was laughing because huge Lord of the Rings geek, and there goes the music. Screen goes up. Mark's dressed up as Faramir from Lord of the Rings, which, you know, I was thrilled with because he's always sworn to me he would never dress up. The actual words he used, which you can't see here on the video, Ruth, I love you so, so much, will you marry me? And the other thing to note, which you probably can't see on the video, is that when he tried to put the ring on, he was literally shaking like this and couldn't really put it on, and I think I helped him. I remember going, yes, 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 yes. I remember giving him a kiss, and now that I've seen the video, I see that I hugged him too, but I didn't remember that. And the next thing I remember is Nancy running over, hugging me. And I had no idea she was there, and just the room going crazy. It was mental. I was overwhelmed and thrilled, and I guess for me the biggest joy, apart from the fact that I now have an absolutely gorgeous fiance that I adore, is it was very important to me that we had it in our community with our friends and our family, and to have it there with everybody who has prayed for us and loved us over the years. To be a part of that was really, really exciting.
It was cool, and after that, you know, everyone just came up and you know, congratulated us, and it was absolutely brilliant. It was overwhelming. That was the most nervous thing I've ever done. It's the single most important thing I've ever done in my life. The best thing, completely, 100% the best thing I've ever done. Ever. Really, I cannot think of anything better I could possibly have ever done. And just the most successful thing I've ever done as well. It was just brilliant. And yeah, it's just quite overwhelming. We're still high in a buzz from it, and now we've got to plan a wedding.